Hi, it's Tar Green, and it is January the 21st. Okay, so here are the planets today. What's going on today? So after the big inauguration yesterday, Mars conjuncts Uranus. You can see that's still going on there. 6 degrees of Taurus, squaring Jupiter and Saturn still. So that's pretty dynamic. Now, the Sun and Saturn will meet on the 23rd, late on the 23rd at 10:01 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's still in progress, so I'm going to give you a bit of a heads up here. Venus is at the middle degrees of Capricorn, which is the most powerful. All 15-degree planets are the most powerful. They're at the middle of kind of riding the crest of a wave. And then Athena, the goddess of battles, of wisdom, she's a virgin parthenogenesis goddess. So she's also at the 14th, which is actually the 15th degree as well. So she's putting on her thinking cap there. You know, she, in the Greek myths, was the only goddess who, because she was a parthenogenic virgin goddess who could self-conceive, of course, the Greek myths very patriarchally turned her into a goddess who had no mother, which is actually the symbol that she could self-conceive, and that she then was born fully formed, wearing armor from her father Zeus's head. So she was literally Zeus's brainchild. They're really clever, these Greek myths. But we're going to take all those old patriarchal Greek myths and revert them back to their original meanings. Okay, so what else have we got here? We can see Lilith over there at 10 degrees. Sorry, 15 degrees, also on the 15th degree of Taurus there. So Venus and Lilith are in a trine. That's really nice. So if you have planets at 15 degrees of Virgo, you get a grand Earth trine between the Earth practical goddess and the dark goddess, and then whatever planets you have there. So it's a nice alchemical energy to work with there. And, you know, traditionally the planets were used as magical tools and talismans, especially if you had hard or difficult aspects, especially during eclipses. There was talismans and symbols that were used, and offerings that were used to appease the planets. They still do this today in India. They wear large gemstones to appease the planets, the bad karma, and they do mantras. And so I think it's really a powerful practice, because then you're dialoguing with the gods and the goddesses, which are the planets. And I think it's important to bring back that sense that they are, you know, these really living archetypal higher energies and entities. Okay, so Mercury, the planet of wisdom, is also in Aquarius. We can see there's a big Aquarian line up there. Sun, Saturn, Jupiter, Athena, Mercury. Okay, so the aspects for today. The moon is still in Taurus, conjuncting Uranus, conjuncting Mars, very explosive energy. Things seem to have gone off at the inauguration. Okay, I think there was protests around the U.S. and big volcanic explosion, of course, as predicted, Mount Etna in Italy. Things can still be pretty explosive. People can be feeling very tense and impatient. Although, you know, Mars is in Venus' sign, so you got to remember, Mars is going to be slow to react, okay? It's kind of a slow flame here. But once he gets going, it could be kaboom with Uranus. So on every level, so I mean, it can be very uplifting and inspiring. On the highest aspect of Uranus is hope and optimism and a sense of higher consciousness. And yes, for sure, seeing Biden speak, it sounded like normal after 4 years of craziness. And I'm going to reflect on that. I have a lot to say about it, actually, but I'm going to wait a few days till the dust settles a bit. The Taurus sensual moon begs us to, you know, slather ourselves in chocolate and mud and velvet and champagne and, you know, beautiful things, wealthy things. Okay, bull market should be up, but could be, again, because things are erratic right now, and in a moment of change there. The moon trines Venus as well. So Ceres and Neptune are in an exact conjunction today. So that's an important one, because they are squaring the north and south nodes of the moon by 1 degree. But Ceres and Neptune is telling us to pay attention. Ceres, the great mother, the first asteroid to be discovered now a dwarf planet, Ceres is Demeter, the Earth Mother. So paying attention to the environment, to the environmental degradation. I mean, the environment has improved, of course, because of COVID lockdowns and planes not flying and industry shutting down. And so that's been a good thing. So I think we want to craft a new idea of maybe we're going to go for slow living for a while as a more unique way of living, but still people need to make enough money and they need to be more creative with their time. And so there's Neptune's creativity, listening to the earth, it's psychic energy, it's magical energy, it's dreaming of the earth, dreaming in the unconscious of Mother Earth. What is Mother Earth's nature unconsciously? You know, when you go into a sweat lodge, for example, you do prayers to Mother Earth, to all the elements. You get in touch with Mother Earth. You go down into her heart flame, into the center of her core, her iron core. It's very magnetic, of course. And you listen to her and you ask, how can I serve you? That's Neptune. Service, charity, compassion. You know, we're all children of Mother Earth. Okay, so the square to the nodes here. Yes, the U.S. has now rejoined the Paris Climate Accord. I believe that only the corporations should be paying for this, not ordinary citizens. Corporations create all the environmental degradation, they should pay. So top down, everybody at the top pays the most, the person at the bottom pays the least. So in a radical, revolutionary, Aquarian kind of way, that's what I believe the new philosophy, the new direction has to be. We're going from the South Node in Sagittarius, the historical truth, the historical justice, the historical ways. We're getting rid of those. South Node, leaving it behind from the past. But transparency and honesty is important. And we're moving towards the North Node in Gemini, which is for some reason not indicated on this chart, but it's there, 17 degrees of Gemini. Vesta, the goddess of investments, is actually making this a grand immutable square. She's up there at 21 degrees Virgo. It is still a grand mutable square. I was just mentioning that Ceres and Neptune are in this perfect exact aspect. So really, if you have planets at the 18th, 19th degree of Pisces, really tune into what you can do to honor the Earth Mother, women, children, compassion. Tune into the spirit of nature. So get out in nature as much as you can. And so Vesta, the goddess of investments, we need to invest in preserving the Earth or we won't have any harvest. You know, Virgo is the virgin goddess. Also Ceres, traditionally the largest constellation, although this kind of astrology has nothing to do with constellations. There is no 13th constellation. But Vesta, we're needing to invest in simple things, the simple life, natural living. Virgo, herbs, natural medicine, building up your immune system so you don't get sick. And Neptune rules viruses, of course. Okay, so again, the best defense against any kind of viruses, it is still flu season, although nobody talks about that anymore because they all lump it in with COVID, is to build up your immune system and to watch your diet very carefully because your diet has a lot to do with it, and managing your stress. Don't go stressing out over every little detail. What else have we got here? Yeah, Sedna, the Inuit goddess of the ocean. She's at 27 degrees Taurus, so she's sitting on Algol, the fixed star, which has the worst reputation in the skies, which was traditionally Medusa's head. Again, the patriarchal myth being turned upside down. Medusa was a beautiful goddess, apparently, who was a real Amazon goddess from Africa who had dreadlocks. And there were real Amazons up until the 1900s, actually, even into the 20th century in Africa. And there's still matriarchal cultures all over the world. But Medusa was an Amazon warrior with dreadlocks, and they called her dreadlock snakes. That's obvious, right? So because this is also, that myth was about trouncing the Amazons, they had to cut her head off as a symbolic end of the feminine, end of the goddess religion. So I'm taking back the original meaning of Algol and making her a beautiful goddess, and there's Sedna there joining with her. From the depths of the unconscious, we can remember our sacred, divine mother, goddess worshipping energy. So bringing that back to life. So she is actually Sedna. And also, I'm getting this intuition, but there could be some oil disaster in the oceans. Again, paying attention to the melting of the glaciers and the ice, not so good also for all the sea life being damaged by sonar, by whatever they're doing to affect the weather and things like that. So paying attention to the creatures of the ocean that we need to save, because all life came out of the ocean. So Sedna and Vesta and Pluto make a grand Earth trine. Again, the wealth of the Earth, that's Pluto, Earth wealth, mineral wealth, plutocrats needing to serve the ocean, the Earth, the food supplies. Now be careful, because there is, I've heard, what's his name, Bill Gates is buying up all the farmland in California. I don't know if that's true. I know that Monsanto or some big magnates were buying up all the acreages in India, and poor farmers were committing suicide because they're trying to control all the food supply in the earth. First it was Monsanto, which is now Bayer. Still GMO foods. Monsanto still has to be forced out of existence. And really, we have to take back the earth for ourselves, for our children, for the next 7 generations. Okay. So Juno, the goddess of feminine genius, she's at 10 degrees of Sagittarius there, calling upon us to see in all 8 directions, not taking anything for granted, really diving into our ability to see everything in all dimensions. Again, Lilith is at 10 degrees of Taurus, so pay attention when things repeat. And Hygeia, the goddess of hygiene, she's also at 10 degrees of Leo. So Lilith and Hygeia are in sextile to each other, which means that they're nicely supportive of each other. It's a 60-degree angle. So Hygeia is in Leo. So again, we need to be strong. We need to be courageous to listen to our hearts, listen to our intuitions, listen to our willpower about what's going on in the world. And then those two are in an conjunct, or an exact yod, a finger of God, to Juno. So women, I was very proud of Kamala, I want to call her Mamala Harris, there being the first woman to be in a high office in the United States, also a biracial, part black, part East Indian woman. That's a really great thing. So women in justice, in high places in society, speaking the truth, understanding that nothing is isolated, everything is interconnected, connect all the dots, use your wisdom, like those 8-armed Hindu goddesses that Kamala is part of, like Lakshmi. I think Devi is her middle name. That means a spirit, a goddess. So connecting that all women and all men and all genders have an inner genius, a feminine genius, which is not linear, one-sided, logical. It's like seeing where everything fits together. All right, so in this chart set for this time, actually it's right on the Sibley chart, which is the U.S. ascendant, which is usually 12 degrees of Sagittarius. So again, I think this is a message really for America, sort of starting a new beginning, a new 4-year cycle here, apparently. If you want to get in touch with me, I'm at taratarot.com. Please subscribe to me here on my blog at YouTube. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Twitter. Yeah, so have a blessed day. Blessings.